What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Black Swamp Comics, and today we're going to be doing a review for Night Terrors. Today is going to be August 2nd, the day of release, and I'm doing 4 tie-ins. There was no main issue this week, and all the tie-ins are the second and final part of it, so you're probably going to want to go back and read those issue 1s if you want to read these as well, or if you don't care, that's up to you. The 4 that we're doing is Batman, the Joker, Ravager, and Poison Ivy, and I'm still enjoying them. I'm still freaking enjoying these, some more than others. Nonetheless, it's a good time. So let's go ahead and get started and get into it, man. So we're gonna start off with Batman. This is part 2, and I think out of all the issues that came out this week, I think this is the most relevant to the main story arc. I think this one has the most connection, even though I still found something to enjoy in the other issues. So this is written by Joshua Williamson, artist is Gilliam March. I love Gilliam March's interiors. Colors by Tommy Murray, and letters by Troy Peteri. So last time we saw that Batman was stuck in his nightmare, and it usually came back to like his story of his childhood, with the killing of his parents and stuff like that. So the difference here was that he knew that this was happening, and he knew that this is something that other villains have tried before. I can think of Scarecrow with the nightmare toxin and stuff like that. So he's been kind of ready for this. And but at the beginning of this issue, we see him. He's kind of looks like Joe, who he's the one who murdered his parents, and he sees like his son, his child version of himself there. But he's quickly able to snap out of it, because Batman is able to take control of his dreams. Like he has the willpower to become a dream warrior, if you will. And one of the things that he does in this issue is that he gains superpowers. So it's pretty much Batman flying around like Superman, and I think we see that. I think that's really fun to see, just kind of what Batman would look like if he was like Superman flying across the skies of Gotham. And I don't know, I thought that was a pretty cool thing to see. If not, it was kind of weird as well. Discovered that there's kind of a block for him to get complete control of his dreams, and that's because a dead man in the real world is controlling his body. So that plays into the part. We find out that he looks for this in his dream. He finds this black door, right, that's locked up, it's chained up, and it's meant to keep people out. At this door he meets Insomnia. So Insomnia meets him at this door, and he's like, this is where you keep the Nightmare Stone, isn't it? And Batman does not play nice with Insomnia. As a matter of fact, Batman like grows himself into like this, super Batman, like this mutant Batman, and he's able to dispatch that gun, that weird looking gun bat that we saw from the first issue, and he pretty much tells Insomnia to go kick rocks. All right, we find out that in the entrance of the door, in the door, it is not the Nightmare Stone. Inside is actually a part of Bruce, a moment of his life, which is pretty much his childhood, where he was leaving in that alleyway. Now this is something that we've visited before, but I think that like traumatic experiences in real life, traumatic experiences are usually with us for the rest of our lives. And even when we feel like we've forgotten about it, every once in a while they creep in. But I think those memories, we always kind of, as we grow older, we kind of look at those memories differently, and as we mature or whatever. And I think that this is also one of those things where it's being seen differently. And I like that in this issue Joshua Williamson kind of talks about a little bit more about the traumatic experience of baby Bruce Wayne, because he was actually sitting there with his parents for 90 minutes. Can you imagine, your parents just get shot and you're sitting there for 90 minutes with their corpses while you wait for the cops to show up? That's probably a very traumatizing experience. That's a very long time, guys. That's a very long time, and you can imagine that those 90 minutes are the 90 minutes that made the Batman. I really enjoyed this conversation between grown Bruce and baby Bruce, and there's always a wondering of like, would baby Bruce be proud of the Batman, or he'd be freaked out. And I like that he pulled into, explaining to little baby Bruce what being Batman is like and what the kind of life it is. And baby Bruce is like, wow, that sounds really cool and that sounds awesome. So you do see a reconciliation between the two. And I really liked it, dude. I did feel it. I felt it, man. I really did, and I enjoyed it. Again, this panel with the I'm telling you, I'm doing this on purpose. This is Adam Hughes shout out. Get it? It's a shout out, right? So anyways, we get this thing where Batman's trying to break out of the dream, and it ends with him like waking up, and he just like feels extremely exhausted. But we don't know if he actually really is. Like the city's covered in like squid and octopuses. So we're like, whoa, did insomnia actually break out? Did the nightmares break out actually? Or is Bruce Wayne still dreaming? So there you have it, Batman. I really enjoyed this, and it was a nice arc. It was a nice thing to explore. The highlight was probably the dialogue between grown Bruce and baby Bruce. There is a backup story with Arsenal and Black Canary, very short. Not really sure if it ties into it, but they wake up pretty quick. They're in a swamp. They fight some alligators. I think the swamp's right outside of Bella Riv, but it is what it is. But anyways, that's Batman for you. Next issue we're going to be going over is Nightmare Terror's Joker #2. This is written by Matthew Rosenberg. Stefano Raffaele is the artist and the cover artist. Romulo Fajardo Jr. is the colorist, and Tom Napolitano is the letterer. See that? I'm getting better, guys. I'm getting better. This is a Joker story I enjoyed last month's issue. It was so stupid, and this is no different. This is so stupid. But this is in a good way, right? Because we see last issue we saw that Batman died in he just tripped and fell and hit his head, and that's the way he died. And we got to explore that side of it. But now Joker's he needs Batman, so now he's out there being Batman, and it's just so weird, like so awkward seeing him in the suit. I love the art here, the way they make those awkward Joker poses that doesn't look anything like what the real Batman would look like. And those stupid one-liners that he says, like there's a guy that says, "Oh, I can't believe my eyes. I thought you were dead," referring to Batman. And then the Joker just kind of throws a couple batarangs in his eyeballs, and he's like, "What eyes?" That's so stupid, but it's so funny, and it's silly, but it's so brutal, and it's very dark at times. And it goes back and forth like this madness thing where the Joker keeps waking up. And there's like such a weird stuff, like the lady next to him, his wife, just him. It's another version of the Joker. And then he's got a little baby Joker, and there's like some random stuff in here that that's so weird and stupid. I like that he wakes up and he goes back to his job, and he's interviewing a guy for the job, and it's Mr. Freeze, and they're kind of just arguing back and forth over like, is it Freeze or is it Fries? Is he pronouncing it Fries or is it Freeze? Who the hell knows, man? And I love that they use Mr. Freeze because he is the opposite of the Joker. Like, Mr. Freeze has no sense of humor. He's pretty much cold, and distant, and he's just kind of apathetic. And the fact that seeing him wearing that stupid suit in here, I don't know. It's just funny. I like it. I think it's a comic book that would not have worked had it been outside of a dream. But this was really fun exploring these situations. So he keeps waking up, and every time it's different. And then there's like this awesome splash here where the Joker's like the Batman, and then where he's actually brooding, but it's actually like he's taking it too far. Like, I feel like this is what the Joker imagines the Batman's thinking while and it's insane. This is insane, and I like it, and I enjoyed it. There's a baseball game, just randomly here, where he gets in an argument with one of the baseball. I think that's Jimmy, and then he like chokes him out and kills him, and nobody really cares. He has a long, super stupid ass dinner. Then he meets Bruce Wayne is still alive, because I guess the Joker doesn't know the identity of Batman. So Bruce Wayne is still alive, so he's here having dinner with Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne's wearing like the Killing Joke costume. Nothing makes sense, but everything is glorious and awesome, and it's really funny. I really had a good time reading this. I don't even care that the ending was kind of like just the Joker just wakes up, everyone's sleeping, so he's like, I'm just going back to sleep. Like, he's not fazed by the nightmares. I love that you know, this whole entire wild ride, because towards the end, like, the Joker starts to believe that the Batman is still alive. Like, he keeps hearing from everyone saying that they've been seeing the Joker, but that's him wearing the costume. So then he goes out to look for the Batman, and he is the Batman, and it's insane, and I enjoyed it. But anyways, that's the Joker 2. I really enjoyed that. Really good. All right, so the next one on the list is going to be Poison Ivy Night Terrors number 2. I've been reading the Poison Ivy stuff, and I've really been enjoying it. This is written by G. Willow Wilson, pencils by Adagin Ilahan, inks by Mark Morales, letterers by Hassan Otsamni Olahu. Sorry about that. And I also enjoyed this. I think so. This one's pretty much just Poison Ivy stuck in like this suburbia 1950s reality where she believes that everything is perfect, but she's only doing it because it's perfect for Harley Quinn. So her nightmare, she's trying to make the best of her nightmare, because her nightmare seems like a dream life, a domestic dream life with Harley Quinn. But there's a lot of things that are kind of freaky. The faces here are freaky. The art, I don't think I would probably enjoy this art if it was in like the regular continuity or in the mainline story, but it works here. Like, everything's just like super freaky, and then at first it's kind of like that 1950s suburbia kind of feel to it, but then it starts devolving into like weird stuff, like Harley Quinn's body starts changing, like she gets like super ripped, and then you have like the faces, the eyeballs start popping up. It's just super weird. And I think that in this issue, like, Poison Ivy starts to realize that this isn't real, and so she starts to look for a way out. And then we find out that Janet from so I will say this though, Janet from HR is down in the basement, but I will say this though, this was the first issue where Poison Ivy referred to Janet from HR as just Janet. All right, just Janet. And I really like that, because that was like one of my pet peeves, where we kept calling Janet from HR, we kept calling her Janet from HR, and it was just kind of annoying, which is also leads me to the point, because Poison Ivy actually lets us know how she really feels about Janet, and she thinks that she's annoying. So I was like, thank you. Now we can kind of move on. It looks like we're probably moving a little bit forward from Janet from HR, right? So hopefully in the next storylines, when we get back to the mainline Poison Ivy, either Janet starts, you know, being a more mature or a more grown character that can be taken more seriously, or she get hit by a bus. I don't care, okay? It's just Janet from HR. She was getting annoying. And just for that, I'm going to give this issue 94 out of 10, okay? This thing is 10 out of 10. Best comic book I've ever read, just for that. Nah, I'm just kidding. One thing I did like about this though is that Janet was stuck down in the basement, and she was the only one that looked normal. Like her body, as far as like the art proportions, I mean, it's still stylized art, but out of everyone else, I think she looked probably like the most normal. And I think that was pretty cool, because it kind of does show that there was intention behind the artist's decision to kind of draw everyone so disproportionate and weird looking. One of my favorite pages is the one where Janet from freaking HR escapes the basement, and she's kind of running through the neighborhood, and those houses are like melting in the background, and that sun looks like it's pissed off and everything, and I just really love it's like so trippy and mushroomy. Overall, like, this doesn't have a really good strong tie-in to the overall arc. However, it was serviceable. I think the dialogue could have been a little bit better. There's a lot of like too much explaining, I think, and I don't think it really captured a lot of the horror vibes. Didn't seem terrified. The problems were kind of being solved a little bit too easy. but overall, I think it was serviceable. I think. All right, so the last one that I'm going to be reviewing today is going to be Night Terror's Ravager Part 2. And this is written by Ed Brisson, Dexter Soy is the artist, Veronica Candini is the colorist, and Troy Pettetti is the letterer. All right, I really thought the first issue was pretty scary. It had like the first appearance of like Murder Man, which is like the nightmare version of Deathstroke, and you had Ravager kind of having to come to terms with like a dream version of herself. And we kind of see that dream version of herself turn into like this freaky animal thing, and now they're chasing her through the streets. Overall, this story was very it was pretty basic. It was kind of like, I'm not gonna say it was like below average, it was kind of right above average storyline. It's a lot of action, I think, and didn't get to learn a whole lot about Ravager, but at the same time, I don't think that this is probably the time to be learning about Ravager. I think if I wanted to know more about Ravager, I'd probably go read one of her, like her solo series. I think she does. I don't know if she has a solo series, but anyways, I'd seek that out. Anyways, she runs, there's a section here where she runs to her parents' house and they won't let her in, and they start to like transform and devolve into this ugly looking two-headed spider. So it's a spider with two human skull heads on it, and geez, if you're arachnophobic, that shit's gonna stick with you for a long time, just because, you know, that's probably the freakiest thing that I've seen since that bear from Annihilation. So yeah, the spider doesn't really last that very long. There ends up a point where she stops running and she faces them, and she does start to face the Deathstroke version of herself, and at the end she just kind of comes into a reconciliation with her version of herself in there. It's kind of reminds me of the Batman issue I just read, and overall I think it's good. It's got action. I love the art. It's not, if you're looking for character exploration, this ain't gonna be it, son. And then but other than that, it's really cool. They did have the Stormwatch here. They're the ones who were able to wake her up. I don't know much about Stormwatch, but I think they looked interesting and they look cool. And also they hint that maybe the Murder Man from Ravager's dreams may have been able to break through into the real world, and it says that it's going to be continued into the Brave and the Bold number 41. So it looks like this is going to be something they do continue now. So anyways, so that's it for the reviews for this week, man. Overall, I'm still enjoying this freaking event. You know, there was a lot of complaints saying that, oh, why didn't they run this through Halloween? Like, nah, bro, like Terror is good all year long, and if I get it in July, then it's freaking Christmas in July for me. Okay, this is Christmas to me. This isn't Halloween. So I'm really enjoying this. Some issues more than others. I think I've been enjoying a lot of some more of the tie-ins more than the actual main storyline, but I think the main storyline is essential just to put the whole thing together. So anyways, that's it. Those are my reviews. You guys let me know what you guys think. If you guys are still riding this, or if you guys are just waiting out till September and you ready to keep going with Dawn of DC. With that being said, man, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.